Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. For today's episode, I thought I'd be taking a look at the Mighty Max playset, Terror Talon. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this thing.
The Terror Talon playset was one of the few toys that actually made it into the series. Despite the many differences, there were enough key features for anyone who had the playset to instantly tell what it was. The episode isn't key to the overall arc and plot of the series. However, without giving too much away, it does have one of the most head-scratching or possibly comical endings of the series. Alright, so here we have the Mighty Max Terror Talon playset. Now this one was one of the bigger playsets that came out in the line. It's not as big as Skull Mountain, but it's definitely a lot bigger than Magnus. As you can see, there's a lot of differences between what's shown here and then what's shown in the cartoon. This thing is just torn up. You can see like there's little creatures wanting to pop out, horns, another guy right here trying to break out. You can kind of see it. I hope the light gets that kind of well. All these little other tentacles and other stuff, and it just looks like it's seen some fights and seen some damage. And that's not so bad. It's all these little sculpts that give it a lot of character. You can also see that there's a lot more tubing around here, and that even though it's not painted here, you have a lot more detail added on the bottom. It just goes to show how much effort they put into these actual toys. Now, before I go open it up and show the playset off, I will say that there's this little weird alien guy that sits in a chair, and if you move him around, the guns will actually follow along wherever he's looking. I guess he's either the gunner or the pilot, or I'm not sure. And they have him actually just sitting on the outside of the ship. That's kind of a bit dangerous. I guess he doesn't have that good of a job. Now this part will actually open. You have a cockpit right in there, so you have the little Virgil, Norman, and I can't seem to find Max, but those little footprints in there was where Max would actually sit. I have to be honest, I've actually lost some pieces to this one just over the years, taking him back and forth to my cousin's house. Anyways, before I open them up, there's this other gimmick down here to where you can have a little spring, and that will actually have this caged, well, I guess it's some sort of skeleton of some sort of creature, but it also acts like a cage, and it'll just drop down on Max or Norman or whoever they have. And I should also point out that the landing gear will actually also move up and down, so you can actually retract it if you're wanting it to fly. However, if you're wanting to have it stand, it suddenly becomes unbalanced and you can easily forget to put the landing gear down. As far as opening this thing goes, you have these two wings that pop up like this, and I must apologize once more because I can't seem to find the other gun that goes over on this side. You can see there's this little gun turret right here that Max can actually sit in, and so it makes it look like he's actually firing and can sweep across the whole area at any aliens that are coming at him. And as far as this goes, you just actually pop this up, and this little tail fin actually acts like a base so that this part can all be supported. Now, let me pull this back. I'm probably going to have to rearrange this camera so you could just get a good view of everything. There we go. Alright, this is being really close to me right now, but awkward shape. Anyways, you pull this part up here, this little flap where this little dragon is, and this will actually act as a little makeshift staircase for Max to actually go and climb up if he wanted to. Now there's this alien right here that actually was hidden up inside here, but he just fell out right now, and he snaps in there pretty well, but right now he just fell out, and he's, I guess, the overlord or leader. He doesn't look anything like the aliens that were actually in the show, but he's still pretty cool, and I'm assuming he's the leader because his little green thing right here kind of acts like a cape. Now there was one other little red creature in here that I can't seem to find, and it was like this little kind of almost had a T-Rex head, but it was almost like this little weird impish alien. Yeah, let me see if I can get this other alien out of here too. These guys snap in here very, very well. I'm gonna have to pull this off and use this to poke him out. That's one thing about these toys. If you have all the parts, they all fit into their places really well. All right, so you have this little tiny tentacle cyclops creature, and the other little red guy was about this guy's size too, so you can easily see why these things get lost so darn easily. as far as aliens go, that's not the end of it. You had these two creatures right here on the ends that actually, their horns actually just fit right into the sides of the wall. You got this, God dang it, dropped him. You got this weird, deformed, almost weird creature. I can't even describe what he is. Some sort of weird lizard, raptor, claw thing. And then the other thing you have right here is this guy, and he's actually my favorite alien out of this entire playset. Just because look at those big teeth that he has. He almost looks like one of the isms from the Max. And he has this little weird rocky texture right here, so you kind of don't know what he is. Now that cockpit area where Norman, Virgil, and Max would actually stand comes down, and it forms this giant mouth to some sort of alien creature head. And I guess it could also form as some sort of platform for the royal king to actually speak from, or something else. You could use your imagination. But this face is really interesting because it's just this big alien creature's head right there, and you don't really know why it's there, and they never gave you a backstory, so it's up to your imagination on whatever you want to use with it. Another cool feature is that little alien gunner on the back. His eyes are actually attached. The guns are actually attached right here to the eyes, so if you move him around, the eyes can actually move to follow Max and wherever he's running around on here. As far as playsets go, this one is one of the bigger ones, and it's definitely one of the cooler ones. I mean, just the amount of little aliens that you get with this playset is it's just a lot. I mean, these bigger playsets, they just came with so many more characters. I think the Skull Mountain one was the one that had the most, but still, it's a cool playset. I'm glad I had it, and it's definitely one to have in your collection if you're a fan of Mighty Max. It's just good luck trying to track it down and track down all the parts for a reasonable price. Anyways, this has been a look at the Mighty Max playset Terror Talon.
Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show would be greatly appreciated. Who knows, some new suggestions may appear on the show in the future.